Okay, Cam. So you walked up to me at the gym and you said you had a lot to say today. So please let me have it.
I want to say that you are officially the worst friend I've ever had.
Okay, what?
It's because of what you did this week. So
Get it off your chest.
Manny knows about Payday 2. And Manny also knows about Mortal Kombat 11. For everybody who doesn't know, Andres has a weird thing where he tries to convince everybody to buy games, and then he'll never play the game. I bought Payday 2 and Mortal Kombat 11, and I have not played Mortal Kombat 11 online with Andres once. And I bought this game when I got my PlayStation 5 months ago. So
Look,
I'm over here. Hold up. I'm over here suggesting, hey, everybody, let's get a friendly game. Let's get Temtem for $40. Text in our group chat, and Andres leaves me on open. While Manny answers, Andres could have just said no. Andres could have just said, hey, man, I'm not trying to spend the money right now. And Andres decides to leave me on open. So I'm never speaking to him again.
Well,
look, I never made you pay for a full price game. Sorry, Manny. I just need to defend myself real quick here.
Mortal Kombat was $40 still.
Yeah, Ultimate Edition. That was like it was like an $80 value, to be clear. You got it like half off. Just saying.
But also, how much value does it have if we've never played it?
Look, that's just because you've never come over and let me kick your ass. We can play.
You're crazy, dude. I whip you all the time.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Level Up Gaming. I'm your host, AC Mello, and today we're joined by Manny and Cam.
What's up?
So, Cam, do you want to go over what we're talking about today?
Yeah, so today we have a bunch of news to discuss. It's the 1-year anniversary of The Last of Us 2. We also got an announcement for an upcoming mini sequel for the PS5 for Ghost of Tsushima. We also got a new trailer, an announcement on release date for the Demon Slayer game that's coming out in this October. We also got Cyberpunk back on the PlayStation Store. And lastly, the NCAA agreed to start paying student athletes, which can have big implications when it comes to the new NCAA football game coming out this year.
That's definitely a lot of things to talk about. I mean, I guess we can start first with Last of Us Part 2. It's been a little over a year since the game initially released, and as we all know, it had a lot of harsh criticism at the time, but I feel that, I mean, it's well known that everyone's opinion has kind of changed since then. Personally, I always liked the game, but I had some criticisms with its storytelling. What about you guys?
I didn't hate the game as much as everyone else did when it came out. I'm not the biggest fan of the game. I think it's like okay. I just don't really enjoy the first part with Ellie. Other than that, I enjoyed the rest of the game. I gave it like a 7, high 7, low 8s out of 10. So
pretty harsh, but yeah. I respect it.
I agree at first too. I didn't like the game much at all, and I stopped playing on the first part with Ellie right before you get to the aquarium. And then when I got my PlayStation 5, I went back to replay the game when they updated it for the new system. And it honestly was one of my favorite games of last year. I kind of missed out. I felt like I should have just stuck it through. But after that first part with Ellie, I thought the game picked up a lot. And it was just as good as the first from there on.
Yeah, no, I think like a big problem is just that like it's obviously going to be held up to the same pedestal that the first game was held on. So everyone's viewing it through that same lens. And, you know, the way they handled Joel's story is probably one of the main reasons why everyone gave it so much hate at first. But, I mean, there's no denying the gameplay. I mean, like, it's still one of the best games, aside from, like, Ratchet and Clank visually. And just, like, the way the stealth works, it reminds me almost of, like, Metal Gear Solid.
You know, the gameplay, I still love the gameplay to this day. I just didn't enjoy the first story part of the game. But I still think it's a great game. Obviously, it doesn't hold the candles to the first one, but I don't think it's hard to do that. Pretty much no game does. But
where would you guys rank it along with, like, all the other PlayStation exclusives?
It's tough right now.
Yeah, I would say for PlayStation 4, it was top 3 for me. I think only one I can think of that was better off my head would be God of War 2018.
I would need to look at a list. I can't do anything
It has
right
to
now.
be off the
off top
dome. You have to follow your heart.
Yeah.
The only game I have in my head right now is God of War.
I
Honestly.
mean, it God of War, and
Uncharted.
it doesn't necessarily have to be PS4. Actually, just best PlayStation exclusive. Because then we couldn't mention the original Last of Us.
Well, if we're doing all those, it's probably. I mean, it's probably like a A tier game.
I give it an A.
Yeah, I would give it an A. I mean, I think the first game had a little bit of issues, and the second game just improved on that in gameplay. Like, the fact that you don't need to make a shiv in the whole game is huge. Like, that was a game changer for sure.
For sure.
And it honestly
Also, the
makes
fact
the first one not as fun to play because you gotta always worry about it.
All right, calm down.
well,
Yeah.
I would.
No, it's still a great game. It's still a great game, but
Just because you have to make a shiv in the first one, it makes it not as fun to play.
But you're telling me it wasn't awesome running around just hitting, I think it's R1 to just like slice
I'm
up
not saying
people.
that, but your justification there. I don't know if that's enough.
I mean, I think it's really cool they added a mechanic in the second one in which you can dodge and you can like go prone. So there actually is like a whole new element of gameplay to it where Ellie can just like move way better than Joel ever could or Abby.
I don't know about you guys, but I thought Abby was the best character in that story that
It was
you play
built
as.
different.
Yeah, everybody hated her at first because of like all the controversy, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But I felt bad for her. Like I felt really bad playing that game.
Yeah.
They convinced me that she was kind of doing it all for the right reason.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly preferred playing as Abby to Ellie in that game. I enjoyed the Abby segments more than I did the Ellie segments in that game. So
I definitely. I think
like Abby had a good reason for killing Joel. I mean, from her side.
Hey, spoilers.
She didn't. Sorry, if you haven't played it, at this point,
a
I'm sorry.
year-old game.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's all.
But like Abby didn't play the first game. Come on, she didn't see the story.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So how do you guys think that The Last of Us is going to be perceived like over time? How do you think its legacy is going to face?
So I have an interesting story actually. My stepmom was actually talking to me one time about The Last of Us 2, but she mentioned the whole game, everything, and the person who explained it to her had never brought up at one point that there were zombies in the game. So I think people are gonna like The Last of Us 2 for a while because although it did get a lot of unnecessary shit in the beginning, now I think people understand it's a great game and the emotional story they were trying to tell and the characters that we got to spend our time with, like Ellie and Abby. I think it's kind of like a coming of age story, right?
For sure. I'd say the same thing too about the first one. I mean, like, there's definitely a lot more than like at the surface level zombie game. Like you said, like, you could tell the whole story about the game and never bring up zombies once. And that's really telling of what the game is. I mean, there's definitely a lot of potential in the series as a whole. I'm really excited to see what happens with the series. Like, especially the live TV adaptation. Like, I'm curious what that show is going to be like.
Yeah, I definitely think the legacy will be better than like the initial like launch like reaction was. But
I feel like it's just difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult to please all fans. And at the end of the day, there's always going to be loud reception and harsh criticism, regardless of what choices they make. It's kind of like looking back to other games like Metal Gear Solid 2 when that came out and everyone hated on it and said it was like a terrible game. But over time, people learn to love it. And I think that's what's going to happen to Last of Us Part 2.
My brain turned off for a second. What I meant to say was I think it'll always be looked at as like the inferior of the two, like in the series, obviously, because it's following up like arguably the greatest game of all time. So it'd always be looked at as inferior to that. But I still think it'll be held in a good light as a standalone game.
For sure.
We get a part 3?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, Last of Us Part 2 sold well, so I mean, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't.
I kind of think it's a no-brainer, to be honest. I think Naughty Dog's like definitely gonna release a Last of Us Part 3.
If I'm being honest, I'm fine with it being over. I don't necessarily want a third one.
Mm-hmm.
I would like them to do a multiplayer for the second one because the multiplayer for the first Last of Us very underrated. One of the most underrated multiplayers out there.
Yeah, we still play it to this day.
Still play it to this day.
It's
Very
definitely a
underrated.
shame. It's a shame that it hasn't released on part 2 yet because there's so much potential with like how the gameplay has been redesigned for like a better console.
Yeah, I recommend anyone if you've never played that online. People still play it. There's still a decent community on there.
It's still
a
pretty
solid-
active.
Yeah.
Hop on interrogations with us. Where do you guys think the story would go in a part 3?
I mean, I don't really want to get too heavy into spoilers, but I feel like there's a lot of room with how the ending left with certain characters and how some characters moved on. You know, maybe you want to see what they're doing in their new lives. You know?
Yeah. Without spoiling too much, I would like to see a time skip potentially.
That would be good.
We get a story where maybe the main character's JJ. Is that his name? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. For sure. That would be interesting. Yeah, no, I don't really think that like a sequel needs to necessarily be like characters that we've already had. That universe in general just has so much potential, and it really just comes down to the writing, the skill that Naughty Dog has.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think Last of Us is going anywhere. I think it's one of Sony's strongest IPs. Like,
it's only going to get bigger.
For sure. Like God of War, that ain't going anywhere. Sony's exclusives are just, I mean, it's the biggest selling point in my opinion, because, you know.
Yeah.
I think Xbox is cool.
Now that they're getting HBO shows, though, too, it's just going to make them more mainstream. We could potentially see them get to, like, not quite to this point, but, like, almost to the point of, like, how the MCU got to mainstream, you know?
I definitely get what you're saying, for sure. I mean, it's kind of no doubt that Last of Us is going to become way more popular once the show actually releases. Like, it's just going to hit a way broader audience.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what happens with that.
For sure. Yeah, I would like to see how they make the experience when you're not controlling character, you know, and how long it would take them for like episodes wise, like to show you this 30-hour game, you know?
Right. Like, I'm curious how they'd cover Joel and Ellie's story in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
It'd have to be at least like a 10-episode season.
Yeah, minimum.
Like hour each episode. I mean, if anyone can do it, it's HBO.
Oh yeah, they're the best.
For sure. You guys have anything else to say about Last of Us, or?
Not much.
I think we aired it out.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 year later and still probably one of the best games.
I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. If Last of Us is a 10 out of 10, I'm giving it a 9.5. Just because it misses the mark for me in certain story elements, but like, there's no denying the atmosphere and gameplay, and just stuff like that.
Oh no, maybe I need to replay it. I might replay it again.
They need to drop a PS5 edition. I know it got like a 60 FPS update, which like does make it a lot smoother, but if it had its own PS5 version, it'd probably be like even nicer. But obviously, I care more about factions than anything else.
Get DualSense on it. I would probably say that the game a 9. I mean, it's good. It's definitely fun, but the beginning kind of kills it for me. The whole Ellie first part of Seattle. It's cool that you go open world and everything, but it kind of lost my interest on the way to the aquarium. The game's like great though, as I said. I don't know how many times I can say that. It's like scary. It's legitimately scary sometimes. What are they called? The Shamblers?
Oh yeah, I mean all the enemy types, they're just way more aggressive in this game, and I mean that's the whole ability with the fact that you can actually evade attacks this time. Manny, are you still sticking with your harsh 7 out of 10?
I said I think I need to replay it. I might need to go back into it. But as of right now, I said high 7, low 8.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sticking with it.
Ooh.
All right. Well,
I'm not gonna, just change within 5 minutes.
Well, speaking of PlayStation exclusives, we've heard recently that Ghost of Tsushima will have another mini sequel. It's not a direct line in the story, but it's been referred to as an expand-alone type game. I think there's a lot of potential. I know it's going to be like along the same timeline. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you guys know. I'm gonna say it. I never beat Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't have the time.
I
Even though
didn't
I have all
know.
the time in the
You
world.
didn't have the
Yeah.
time.
What
The
can?
guy with no job
That's
doesn't have
some
the time.
bullshit.
Hey,
All
I
right,
only record 5 days a week. I don't want to hear that.
All right.
dude.
Hey. It just happened to be that I got the PlayStation 5. I was working.
Okay.
Stuff came
Yeah.
up.
Working.
Okay. I mean, I love the first one. It's just a better Assassin's Creed, in my opinion. Like, the gameplay is just awesome. Some of the best we've had.
Yeah, he
And-
loved it so much he didn't finish it.
Hey, I played Legends mode. I played Legends mode. But if it's like anything like how Spider-Man Miles Morales was, I think that's how they compared it to. It's going to be like around the same length. Just improve on the graphics and they'll change the world a little bit, and it should be awesome.
I gotta say, personally, I think if it's gonna be around the same price as Miles Morales, it should definitely offer more bang for the buck than Miles Morales did. Because while I did like that game a lot, I beat it very quickly, and like. But also, it's worth noting that this is a lot of speculation, and there aren't really any official sources explaining the game length or any specific details yet. But I mean, there's definitely a lot of potential in this game.
Yeah, if it ended up being like the length of Miles Morales, let's say, I wouldn't mind if they did a $10 upgrade, like how they did for that game, and give us Ghost of Tsushima PS5 upgrade version with the game, like in a deluxe edition.
For sure.
Even
Or
though
even just like,
I don't
yeah.
want to get my hopes up for the rumor, but I enjoyed the first game a lot. I actually beat it, but but yeah, no. If they wanted to add more, I'd be all for it. I was a big fan of the first game. I'm a big fan of like the samurai type, just like genre in general. So anything always catches my eye that's like that.
For sure. That gameplay was so satisfying. Honestly, I've been ready to buy DLC of just like if they had more duels. Like you remember mid-game through Ghost of Tsushima where you would have like the duels with the other samurai? That was legit
No,
my
I don't.
favorite. Oh yeah, right, you don't because you didn't beat the game. But that was like my favorite part of the game.
No, yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, like we said, like every game that comes out, that was really one of the best looking games, like of at least PlayStation 4 generation.
For sure.
Yeah, one I just forgot about while talking about Last of Us, but I probably won't say it's probably not objectively a better game than Last of Us, but I had more fun playing Ghost of Tsushima than I did The Last of Us.
No, I definitely did too, and I think it just comes down to like Last of Us has dark story,
Yeah,
and like obviously Ghost of Tsushima is dark too. It's a Mongol invasion, people are getting murdered, all that, but it's fun. You feel like a samurai Batman, essentially.
it's always fun to just walk around with a samurai sword and slice shit up, man. No matter what it is.
Speaking of moving around like a samurai, what do you guys think of the Demon Slayer trailer? Yeah, you like that transition?
Yeah, that
Seamless transition. Episode 2, you're already a natural.
I like the trailer. I thought the trailer looked pretty cool.
So I like Demon Slayer. I love anime and stuff, but I don't know how great this game's gonna be. CyberConnect, that's the company who's making it. They also made Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and the Ninja Storm games. And the Ninja Storm games are some of my favorite games. I love Naruto, but I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't have that much content. The fighting is kind of linear, and you're mashing circle a lot, or just hitting like circle and triangle at the same time to do a super move. So I'm excited for this game, but I hope they evolve on the gameplay from their past games.
Would you say you're cautiously optimistic about the game?
Yeah, because the bosses do look better than the Ninja Storm games. The bosses look more like how in Kakarot you had to like devise a plan to actually beat them instead of just going in and button mashing, which does make me hopeful for the game.
I didn't play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I haven't played any games from this studio, so I don't really know what to expect, honestly. I'm a fan of the anime, but I mean, look, the trailer looks cool. It doesn't look like the greatest game ever, obviously, but I would also say I'm just cautiously optimistic from what I know. Pretty much.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm also a big fan of the anime, and like, you know, I've seen the entire first season in the movie. I'm definitely excited to see like those iconic scenes done through the game because I think like visually it looks pretty close to the anime in art style, you know. But yeah, I've been disappointed in the past with anime games, so it's tough.
I mean, speaking from experience with the Ninja Storm games, the animation looked amazing in those, and it's almost as though if you play those games, you experience the full story the same way. If you get what I mean, it feels they do a good job adapting the story over to a game, but I'm not sure if it's going to be worth $60 unless they go further than what the anime is at right now, because we don't have much characters or much story either in like the Demon Slayer universe right now.
Right.
So I don't know realistically how many there's going to be, like at most 20 fighters, I think.
Mm-hmm. I mean, unless they go into the manga and spoil it for the anime watchers.
Yeah, I feel like that's not a smart move though. But I feel like they'll probably just, DLC.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to make so much
they
money
gotta
with this game.
As the show, introduces more cool characters, they're just going to keep throwing them in the game for, like $10 a pop or some shit.
Yeah. Their movie just broke like all those records. Let's see what the game could do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Unrelated. Actually, I mean, kind of related, but the movie was amazing. I loved it.
One of the best movies to come out this year. Not that I've seen many that have come out this year, but
that last fight scene was awesome.
For sure. Goated. Well, in other news, Cyberpunk 2077 is finally returning to the PlayStation Store. I played the game in full and beat it and then never touched it again. I also am a dumbass who pre-ordered it, and I played it on like its first couple updates, so I saw a lot of problems. What about you guys?
Okay. Do you remember what you told me back in November? In November,
God.
this kid Andres decided to hype up Cyberpunk as much as he could. The month before the game came out, no. Okay,
literally everyone was.
The month before the game came out, I didn't hear a word out of this kid's mouth that didn't have Cyberpunk in it. It's out, and I'm like, dude, I don't have the PlayStation 5 yet, tutorial. And then I never ended up going much further after that. I was just gonna wait until they released the full PS5 upgrade, which they still haven't released. So we'll see. I'm definitely gonna wait on Cyberpunk. I want the full experience.
I think it's definitely a lesson learned in pre-ordering games.
I'm in the same boat as Cam. I started like the tutorial, but I didn't get much further. I don't know if I'll ever go back to it. Maybe if they clean it up and I hear it's good again. I don't know if it is now. I haven't really been keeping up with the game. But if I hear it's cleaned up, I might go back. But as of now, I'm not really too interested.
Yeah, I hear people who love this game. Like one of my friends says this is like one of his favorite games, and he's playing it on a PS4 Pro. And I was like, it's not like
he just might be crazy.
Yeah, but I was like really excited about this world. I was excited to see where it would go. Like the concept is super cool. They got Keanu Reeves and everything, and then they just really didn't deliver to the point where I don't know if I'll ever buy a CD Projekt Red game again.
The thing is, like, I had some faith in CD Projekt Red because I did play Witcher 3 in full and like I beat it and I loved it, but I played it about a year after release, so all the bugs were like taken care of for the most part. I know that game also had a really tough launch, but like obviously it doesn't even come close to compare to how much of a disaster this one was. But like Cyberpunk has some really good, well-written side characters, but like the basic NPC AI is like unforgivable at points. Like it really makes GTA 4 seem like it has better police and like just standard civilians walking around. And I think like they would really have to go in deep to fix the game. Like straight up create more people. Like, it's not so easy of a fix of being like, oh, let's fix loading times or make sure, like, assets pop in correctly. It's, like, a legit deep clean. Like, they almost have to make another game inside that game. So I honestly don't know if it'll ever fully be fixed.
Yeah, playing the game for the first time, I remember there was guys who literally looked like they were in Metal Gear Solid 1. They looked like PS1 characters just walking around. And when that game was being advertised as the game of, like, the future, that was going to be like the new biggest, baddest game ever. And then you have people walking around. It was made 25 years ago. I don't know. They lost me kind of.
Probably the most disappointing, up there with the most disappointing game of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that No Man's Sky. And maybe like people like Destiny, but Destiny didn't perform people wanted at first, I guess. Do we want to go to the next one?
1 second. I just realized I've been doing this whole thing with my air conditioner on.
I don't even hear it.
I didn't even notice it. I feel like at this point we just got to commit to that. So moving on from Cyberpunk, we actually have really big news from the NCAA. I personally don't know much about sports, but this is where you two have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, so I misspoke actually in the intro. The story is that July 1st, 2023 until June 30th, 2027, there's going to be a contract for NCAA sports games to be made. And one of the big things that happened is Notre Dame and Northwestern announced they will not be participating in the next version of EA Sports College Football until the rules are created and finalized that allow players to benefit financially from use of their names, images, performance, histories, etc. So that's actually huge because one of the main conversations that goes on in like the college sports world is how players don't get paid for their likeness. I think we all agree here that they should be getting paid. They're out there making millions of dollars for the schools, and they're putting in work like a 9-to-5 job, even more every day.
For sure.
Yeah. And they're putting players on the cover of the games that are selling millions of copies, and they're not getting any money for it. So it's messed up. But
yeah, it's crazy, honestly, that like players get their jerseys sold, they get all this stuff, and I get that they're getting a free college tuition, but it almost is at the point where, it is at the point where the work they're putting in surpasses the amount of money they're getting for school. And some of the kids aren't even getting paid money to go to school. They're just walk-ons, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
I know there's a story of a YouTuber actually who had a YouTube channel, and he was on a college football team, a D1 team. He was a punter, I think, or a kicker.
It's destroying.
Yeah. Did he get his page taken down or something? Videos? Because
no, he had to drop out of school because NCAA said he couldn't make profit off him showing him working out on campus, or him being a player on the NCAA team. He couldn't be making money off that.
So crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like you're literally selling somebody they can't make money off of their life. Yeah. I mean, me and Manny used to play this game all the time as kids. We used to play the NCAA football games.
Yeah, I mean,
how did that work? Like, it didn't have their names, right? But like, how would
it would just pretty much be like player and then like their jersey number. So it would just pretty much be like running back number, quarterback number, or whatever. But I mean, yeah, as like Cam said, growing up, we used to play those all the time. It was, I mean, if I'm being 100% honest with myself, if a new one comes out, it probably won't be great because it'll be EA. It'll probably be just like Madden. And those games, we all know how those yearly sports games are. So, without looking at it through my nice rose nostalgic glasses, it probably won't be great. But, I want to keep on my little nostalgic glasses for a second. Because if they bring back the mascot mode, I'm going to buy it. That's all I know. Because if I can do a side flip over someone with a mascot, it has my money. Because I haven't done that in years, and I would very much like to do that on a PS5.
Yeah, so. I'm how good the games be too, because I know you give up on Madden a couple years ago, but I still buy Madden every year, and I end up playing Madden for like a month, and then I don't play it for the rest of the year. And I don't see any possibility really that this game is better than Madden. Like, I don't think they're going to put in more work into the NCAA football game than they did to Madden. But I mean, I'm excited. It kind of just makes me sad that they're bringing it back now because we missed out on so many cool years that we could have had with players like Joe Burrow, like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, but it also might just ruin it because they could just bring it back and it could be just terrible and it could just ruin, the franchise that everyone loves.
Mm-hmm.
At least some athletes will get a paycheck, though.
Yeah, that's always
hopefully.
good.
I mean, I'm very interested in seeing what Notre Dame and Northwestern continue to do with this whole situation, because if they weren't in the game until 2027, that'd be kind of big considering Notre Dame made the playoffs this year.
Yeah, Notre Dame is a big school. Northwestern too, both really big D1 schools. Notre Dame more so, but without a team like that, they'll probably be losing a lot of fans buying the game. So it'll definitely hurt the sales.
Yeah, I also wonder if just more schools are going to join in on this, because like I assume that Notre Dame and Northwestern aren't the only two schools that are pro player. Like,
I hope not.
Yeah, like that. I mean, I guess every school's trying to make money and they don't profit much off of sports, but like you want your athletes to they're grown men. They're working for you every week. They're working.
Did you say they don't profit much off sports?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most schools don't profit off sports. Obviously, like the NCAA does. They profit off like college football and stuff, but other sports, I'm pretty sure most schools don't. That's why Dowling closed down, right?
We don't got stats in front of us, so I'm not going to say anything out of pocket here.
I mean, it makes sense that for them. I mean, just like as a generalization, it makes sense that in the U.S., like football is like the big money source, and like obviously the other sports aren't going to get as much attention except like maybe like basketball, but like that's just like a generalization.
Yeah, we need to bring back college hoops. College hoops would be sick.
Kind of just sucks that EA is the one that gets the rights to this. Wasn't there like another football game that existed that wasn't NFL. Madden?
There was NFL 2K back in the day, but now 2K is just following suit with EA. So I mean 2K, the NBA games are better than Madden, but I also don't have too much hope of 2K making a great football game these days.
It's at the point where 2K doesn't try either, though, because they see all the other companies don't need to try. Their games have progressively gotten worse over the years.
Yeah,
I would say since like 2017.
That's just how it works with the sports games. They've just become a shell of themselves.
Well, wouldn't you say that the problem is really just that a game is being released every single year? So like you're really just getting an updated roster at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, they could just charge us for DLC. But if we're all going to pay $60, why not, right?
I feel like even more so is the microtransactions, because that just made them try less, because the games have always been coming out yearly. They were better coming out yearly, in the early 2010s and early 2000s. I just, when they incorporated microtransactions, they had to, try less from year to year.
Yeah, you could say Ultimate Team maybe killed them. Ultimate Team and My Team, or even the fact that in 2K's case, you can buy VC. You can literally pay to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been more excited if they brought back like NFL Street, or like that would have been fun.
Yeah,
I used to love that on the GameCube.
What was Blitz the League? I remember watching Manny play that game back in the day.
That game was crazy.
What the hell was it? I remember being like Mortal Kombat.
It was just like I think it was just some M-rated football game where they would just show X-ray injuries every time there was a big hit.
Yo, let's bring that back. What the hell happened?
That would be fun. I would be all for that.
I think my dad brought it home on my birthday one year, and I just remember Lawrence Taylor was like on the cover of it, and my dad's a huge Giants fan, so he just brought it home because Lawrence Taylor was on it.
Wait, so they were allowed to use like players' likeness?
I don't know.
They weren't real teams, I don't think.
Yeah, they weren't.
Wasn't he like the only player?
Yeah, I think he was just. They wasn't real teams. It was all made up stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like how Backyard Baseball got like leader and for a couple years.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Well, that's definitely really interesting. I feel like that pretty much covers up all our topics. We could go into some fan questions now. I could start with Tyler. Who would you want the last DLC character in Smash to be? Cam, you got anything?
Oh yeah, I do. I have two. I have number one. I want Sora. I've been saying this since like since Joker got announced. Maybe even Piranha Plant. It doesn't look like he's really going to make it in though, because Square Enix got 2 reps already. So I would say the one that makes the most sense would probably be Crash Bandicoot. He has a Crash 4, I think it is, just came out on the Switch a couple months ago. It would make sense for him to just come over. He's Sony mascot. He's got cool moves. Have him spin around and stuff. What about you guys?
I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I play Smash a lot. I do enjoy the game, playing it, casually every now and then, with friends. So I don't personally care too much who gets in it, but
I think just like
I guess Crash Bandicoot. I guess that'd be cool.
Crash would be cool.
I feel like try to think if there's anyone.
Master Chief.
It would never happen though.
Yeah.
As cool as it is, I don't think it ever happened.
I feel like everyone who I'd want in the game is already in it. For me, at least personally.
Nah.
Who do you got, Mello?
So I'm thinking they already got Solid Snake in it. There's so many other Metal Gear characters, but if I had to pick one,
of course.
Probably Gray Fox. Gray Fox would be good. You could even make Gray Fox a skin.
They're
off
putting
like
Waluigi in the game before they put in
right.
Metal Gear
Another
character.
sword character.
Yeah, they can
That's
give you
a
Gray
problem.
Fox, and I'm still gonna beat you at Jigglypuff.
What
Don't
about
matter.
Liquid Snake skin on Snake?
I would
But
love
the
that.
whole DLC character for that.
Easy money, Nintendo. Just
Dude.
put Liquid Snake skin and an Australian accent.
Nothing from Metal Gear is getting in that game again.
No shot. They barely got in the first time.
Metal Gear is just so abused. So, we got a question from Agent Pike. Best final boss in a video game. You can't choose anything from Final Fantasy. Well, I wasn't gonna, even though I like Final Fantasy a lot.
Yeah, you don't have to scream at him like that. Gotta give me a second for this one.
Yeah, you got one?
It's tough. I mean, at the moment, probably the final boss of Persona 5 Royal, but like saying who it is kind of a massive spoiler because you don't see it coming.
Ooh,
but
Cynthia, Pokemon, like, is that Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, that generation, Gen 5 or Gen 4? Gen 5, I think. No, Gen 4. Yeah, that boss was pretty hard and it was fun. Just made me feel like a badass.
I'm going the boss on Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah.
I think the fight itself and also the just like the story behind it, everything.
It's so emotional.
Yeah, it's cinematically, it's probably also one of the greatest.
Just everything in that fight fell into place perfectly. The story leading up to it, the music, and just like you said, like the camera. It kind of reminded me of Ghost of Tsushima, almost, like how visually appealing it was in every way. And it's like I was almost crying at the end of the fight just because I was going through so many emotions.
And the field it's in, it's just, a beautiful setting.
No,
a tragic ending.
I think that's my real answer. I'm going with final boss of Metal Gear Solid 3. Even though Persona 5 Royal, it was very emotional too, just in a different way. So, we got a question from Carolina. Where do you think the next Assassin's Creed should take place? I think that they dropped the ball. They should have made a samurai game years before Ghost of Tsushima came out. That was their biggest fault. And now if they do it, it's going to look like they're copying Sucker Punch. But I feel like samurai would be the best next game.
Yeah, not to give the same answer to you. I mean, just maybe future. Give them a little futuristic Assassin's Creed type thing. Like
that's not bad.
Make like a cyberpunk city, put a night city.
Doesn't that kind of take away the whole? Like, isn't the whole story of his ancestors though? So it doesn't really.
Hear me out. The story of Assassin's Creed is almost. It's like as crazy as Kingdom Hearts.
Hey, it's not that hard. We don't care about Assassin's Creed lore over here, bro. I just want to play a good game.
They should just not acknowledge the other Assassin's Creed games and just make it in the future. Maybe like a special end credit scene kind of ties it together, but like it's its own story.
I think they should do something really original, something that's probably never been done before. I'm going World War II.
I'll take that. That's a good one.
So we got a question from Bruce. Are you guys fans of the Batman Arkham games? The series has its flaws, but I really like that it's a top tier Batman universe. total love letter to Batman fans. Love from Hong Kong.
Ooh.
Wow, I'm on it. Thank
great.
you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, we got
Oh.
viewers in Hong Kong. Yeah, I love the
love this
Batman
one.
Arkham games. I mean, I feel like we're all gonna have the same answer for which one's our favorite.
Hit me with it.
Arkham City. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. I've
Mr. Freeze. That fight was freaking iconic.
I've played all of them except for Arkham Origins, but obviously big fan
Oh,
of all three of Arkham Asylum, City, and Arkham Knight. Played
I
the
leg-
shit out of Arkham Knight when that came out on PS4.
I
Damn near
legit forgot. I forgot Arkham Origins even existed. To be honest, I
Same.
never played that one, but it didn't have Kevin Conroy. Even though I know Troy Baker did a pretty decent job too as Batman.
Do you guys have like an order you would rank the three of them? The trilogy?
Probably
Probably-
Arkham City number 1, Arkham Knight number 2, and Arkham Asylum number 3. But I'm not trying to shit on Asylum. It's just that, like, by default, they're all great games.
I
About you?
agree. I feel like that's like a consensus list for most people with the series.
I switch it up.
What do you guys
say
think
that
of Roger
Asylum
Craig
is better.
Smith? What do you guys think of Roger Craig Smith as Batman?
Wait, what?
Roger
Okay,
Craig
hold
Smith.
up.
Wait.
I think he was saying
Yeah, no, that's what he
Oh
was saying.
shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what he meant.
All right. Fuck. I got confused there. Yeah. So
This guy, let's switch that. It wasn't Troy Baker. Troy Baker voiced Joker. Andres made a
Right.
mistake there.
yeah. Oops.
That was Bo coming in saying it was Roger. It was Craig Smith.
I made a mistake of a game I haven't played.
He
But
made a mistake.
I'm sure Roger Craig Smith did a great job and Troy Baker
Yeah,
did too.
the imaginary Roger Craig Smith.
Yeah. So, we got a question. What was the first game or console you purchased with your own money? I think it was a PS. Yeah, we're gonna sound like children now.
We're all gonna sound really young.
It's a
guys. I'm
PS4,
sorry.
yeah.
No. I got the 3DS. Is that a console? Handheld console?
Yeah, I think it counts.
3DS.
Oh wait, it's a game or a console. If we're talking game, that I actually used like birthday money kinda to purchase a video game. I got Super Smash Bros. Brawl. That was the first game like I ever bought.
Yeah, we're young guys.
Yeah.
We're me and Andres are both 21. Cam is 20. Actually, no, I lied. Andres is 22.
I didn't even notice you said my age wrong, but we got a question from Andrew. If you could use one video game ability in real life, which would it be? That is a tough question to answer immediately. I guess probably any ability from Final Fantasy. Healing would probably be so useful, like barrier. You could like do invincible for a couple seconds. Basically, any broken ability from an RPG would be pretty useful.
You know that ability that you have in like a lot of shooting games where you can just like take damage and then you just chill for a second and then you're good in 30 seconds.
Right.
That'd be awesome to have in real life.
You know what? I'll
But
take rechargeable shields.
But I think a specific ability. I'm trying to think, like one, like an iconic one.
I'm taking Sonic's powers.
Sonic speed. Nah, just go for the Flash at that point.
It's not a video game character though.
Injustice got it.
Yeah, you could take that.
But that doesn't count. That's not like an original video game character.
Fine, if we're going original video game character, Spider-Man. Yeah,
I'm taking Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man.
Video game character Spider-Man's ability.
Jeez.
Kirby's got a good one. Are you kidding
Kirby
me?
would be very good.
Yeah. Suck up a flamethrower.
Yo, you're trying to suck people? That's
Whoa.
that's what you want, Cam?
I'm really trying to think of a good answer here.
I don't think there is a great one.
Yeah, because I mean, it's only
No, there's a
limited
bunch
by
of
your.
good.
Yeah,
there's a
there's
bunch
plenty
of
of good
good
answers, but I think mine is just gonna be like invincible for like when I feel like it. You know,
Yeah.
that's pretty useful.
The
Or
fast
just if
games also.
regen would be good.
You could be like a Pokemon, Pikachu. That'd be
I don't want to
great.
be a Pokemon.
No, but like get his powers, bro. Not be the Pokemon.
Yeah,
Start shooting that trick
yeah.
at your
I want to be a slave.
cheeks. Live in baller your whole life.
We got a question from Mr. Jackson. Will standard Call of Duty FPS never die? Probably not.
I don't think so.
It's a formula that works.
And everybody's gonna buy it either way.
It's kind of
I liked Cold War, even though a lot of people
how long
think every year people are gonna buy it, right?
has Jeopardy been around?
Yeah, literally.
Right. I think
It's
it's like the same thing. Like with sports games, for example, like people are just gonna buy it every year because they, at the end of the day, even though they say they don't, they like the company that they're buying the games off of, or at least the formula is appealing enough. So, I mean, if there's mild tweaks that make the game even a little more interesting, they'll buy it. Although I do agree, World War II has been milked. Like, it's done.
No matter what, there will always be children.
That is
Mhm.
true.
Well,
There
I
will
mean,
always be a new generation of kids to shit talk on Call of Duty.
Children will always be stupid, and they will keep buying Call of Duty.
They'll convince their parents to get them the games, and the games will never die.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think Activision's kind of seeing that people aren't liking the multiplayer as much like the original, because this year they're not making Call of Duty, I'm pretty sure. Sledgehammer's getting skipped over, and they're just going to go to Infinity Ward next year. They're going to support Cold War for 2 years.
I actually like that a lot. I mean, it shows that at least like a little more development is being put into the games. I mean, having it come out every year is just, at some point, you know, obviously people are going to cut corners to produce the game under their time frame, so it's good that they're having some more leeway time.
Yeah.
All right, on to the last question from Randall. Best Zelda game.
Can't say Breath of the Wild. Can't say it. I'm making the rule myself.
I was gonna say objectively, Breath of the Wild is I think the best game just because it has the most. But like personally, I think Majora's Mask is like my favorite, just because I beat it when I was like 7, and then I played it like probably like 5 more times throughout as a kid.
I gotta go with the basic Ocarina of Time answer.
I mean, it works.
Yeah, for the time the game came out, when 98, right? Something like that, around then.
Right. Yeah,
That
late
game came out
90s.
then, and for it to be as good as it still is today is insane. So
I think I'm going to have to go with Wind Waker. I have so much like memories playing it as
I
a
respect
kid.
that.
I like the cartoon style.
interesting choice.
Yeah, as a kid, I used to play it on the GameCube all the time. So I think
On
that's
time-
going to be my favorite.
And I'd say it's probably one of the most timeless games in the entire series, just the way the art style is done.
Yeah, the animation holds up really good still.
For sure. All right, guys. So that is all our questions for today. We actually have a new episode coming up soon. I know Manny and Cam are doing their own Ratchet and Clank video. I haven't played the game yet, so I don't really have much to offer there.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to do it. The game was pretty good. Pretty great, actually.
And I'll see you guys on the next episode. And remember, Level Up Gaming is a front. This is Turtle Soup. Turtle out.
Overthrow.